my whole life. I didn't do new things because if I thought to do a new thing and if I attempted to do a new thing, I, like most of us, felt uncomfortable. It didn't feel right. So I scurried right back into my comfort zone.
How do we create new habits?
Our subconscious is creating the programs, and logically, when we want to do something new, right, it's going to feel unfamiliar to us because it is unfamiliar to us. So what I mean when I say one small daily promise is a lot of us are tempted to want to change our life from top to bottom, in one fell swoop. Maybe logically we know 5 areas that we do really want to change. I don't suggest making those 5 areas of change overnight, because that subconscious will feel overwhelmed. One new thing is overwhelming enough for it and is going to feel uncomfortable enough, let alone 5 new things. And remember that sneaky word that I keep offering, which is consistency. We don't create habits by white knuckling, 5 new things for 5 days in a row. We create habits by doing one thing for multiple days in a row. So how we create a new habit is we pick one small area. The most inspiring story that I'm always talking about, and I'm always shouting you out, Elle, because we have a community member who, after coming to realize that she was stuck in self-betrayal, which is what I call habit self, living that Groundhog's Day, not living the life that she wanted in any area of her life, really. So she probably had a list of 5 things she wanted to change when she started. Instead, what she did was made a small daily promise to drink 1 glass of water when she woke up. That was it. And Elle started and kept that promise more days than she didn't by drinking 1 small glass of water. Now she's a year plus. I forget when she joined the community into her healing journey, she has added so many, new habits that began with that 1 small promise. So how do we create change? We find the areas that we want to do something different in, and we pick one of them where it's so small we can almost roll our eyes and say, what is a glass of water really going to even do? And we hold ourselves accountable to that 1 promise. And then that glass of water, if you're someone like Elle, could turn into a new lease on life in so many ways, new relationship opportunities, new ways she's experiencing herself. I mean, so incredible. So we start small is a simple way to answer that, because habits really do take consistency, and they're going to be uncomfortable at first because it's not our familiar.
Mm-hmm. What does that do for you when you drink that glass of water every day and then you add a new thing and then you add a new thing? What does that tell your body or your mind?
I think it empowers you. It allows you, for many of us, for the first time, to experience keeping your word to yourself, which in my opinion is personal empowerment, which is why I say it really doesn't matter what the promise is. It's the act of keeping it. Because I know for me, I didn't keep promises to myself. I wasn't modeled that. I pretty much lived in my zone of comfort, that autopilot, my whole life. I didn't do new things because if I thought to do a new thing and if I attempted to do a new thing, I, like most of us, felt uncomfortable. It didn't feel right. So I scurried right back into my comfort zone. And what I did in the process of that was I betrayed myself. I didn't keep my promise. I didn't show up for myself. I didn't change. I feel maybe shameful about it. What's wrong with me that I didn't do this? So it doesn't matter what the promise is. It's the act of showing up for yourself, of keeping yourself accountable, that empowers you to keep creating those changes.
So doing that, are you then telling yourself a different story about who you are and what you're capable of?
Yeah, by proxy. I mean, you can start telling my story, began from all of the things I wasn't capable of because of all of the reasons why, some of it genetic, some of it my personality, right? As I kept more and more promises, I internalized the belief. I came to believe that I was actually capable of quite more than I believed myself to be. And then as I added changes and changes and changes, I actually broke down so many of those constrictions that I had in place for myself because I started to live differently. I started to look differently. I started to act differently. So this, this chip wasn't controlling me anymore. I was controlling me. And that's why empowerment, I'm always saying that word empowerment and choice and change. That's what this is about, is empowering ourselves to create change. Doesn't matter what the change is, but just showing ourselves that we can.
Do you think that somebody who doesn't want to change or who might not be ready to change can try this technique and have success, or do they have to start to want it for themselves first?
How do I insert whomever boyfriend, partner, sister, mom to change.
Right.
And my answer is always the same. You can't. Is that healing is really a personally chosen journey, because it takes that personal commitment. It takes us incorporating these habits and showing up for ourselves day in and day out. So yeah, other people around us can inspire change. You know, one of the most impactful things, if you're someone who is listening and who is out there and who deems whomever your loved one is not ready or not able to change, all hope isn't lost. So much can happen if you focus internally on your own healing. One of two things happen. The first being the issues that were causing us to want this person to change are no longer as problematic because we're showing up differently or because we're dealing with it in a new way. So we don't, over time, we might surprise ourselves that we don't actually necessitate that person changing anymore. And or another beautiful thing happens. Sometimes we can inspire change because those around us that love us, as they start to see and experience us differently, and you know, us maybe walking into this future that we're now creating for ourselves, that could inspire that person to deem them worthy or to find it important for them to change. But without the personal commitment, you know, and a lot of us point the finger and want so badly for someone to be or do differently. And get really frustrated and feel really powerless when we come to realize that that's just not possible.
And that does it for today's video, everyone. Thanks for watching. I think my biggest takeaway from this video was to make my goals embarrassingly small. And in doing that, they will compound on each other and grow and grow. Any of the resources that were mentioned in the video below, I will drop in the description below. So definitely check those out. And the full live stream will be found right there. Look, magic, boom. Thanks for watching, everyone, and we will see you in the next video.